What if I gave my Tana impression? What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Hi. How are you? Wait, no, that's Jeffree Star. Hello. Welcome back to the Potato Show, where today we are going to be discussing a question that many people have asked. Why the f did anyone go to Tanacon? Well, I went to Tanacon. Roll the intro. Boop, boop, Potato Show. I need a better intro. Whoop, whoop. The setup. So, some backstory. I was 18, about to turn 19. I was not in a good place. I don't think anyone who watches content with Tana Mojo is in a good place, especially like a teenager. Keep in mind, Tana Mojo's brand is being a train wreck. Her original thing was that she got started in a tiny room with a dirty door, living with her parents, not a lot of money, just being herself in her bedroom. And I related to that in a lot of different ways. If you self-identify as a train wreck and you watch other train wrecks, you see yourself in said train wreck. I was hoping that a complete hot mess would be able to accomplish something that no one expected them to be able to pull off. I was sort of in this perfect storm of the worst possible factors pushing you to make poor choices. So when a teenager that I saw much of myself in stated that she was going to make an alternative VidCon, well, I wanted to see another train wreck succeed.
The fact that every person I just named believes, kinda, in shitty little me.
To make this show even more exciting, I went as a birthday present to myself. I haven't had the best history with birthdays. I was used to not having a whole lot of people show up, if at all. I was thinking, okay, I'll do something for myself this year. I wanted a nice, chill birthday present to myself. Well, it didn't go the way I had hoped. The pitch.
Tanacon is a convention that I'm holding with all of your favorite creators. We have meet and greets, panels, all the traditional convention stuff from some of your favorites. Obviously, as you guys know, I am so insanely blessed to have confirmed Shane. And not only Shane, but Andrew, Rylan, and Morgan. Shane just went balls deep, went on Twitter one day. I woke up to it. I was like, so we're announcing? And then a few days later, Casey Neistat did the same thing. Bella, to have Bella there doing panels, meet and greets, all that kind of stuff. There are so many dope booths and activations and all that kind of stuff going on inside. Mugshot photo booth, maybe a little Facetune photo booth action, maybe a little glitter tears booth, maybe a little Laura's Boutique 10% off pop-up shop, merch, brand new exclusive merch from all of your favorite creators, everything Fanjoy sells, maybe some little tattoo, flash tattoo booths, all kinds of crazy.
Not a single one of these things happened.
And on top of being able to offer you meet and greets and meeting up with all of your favorite creators for this low price, day 2 of Tanacon is completely festival style. Literally think Coachella. Gabby's performing out loud, Bella's performing all of her new music and her unreleased music, Elijah's performing a bunch of new music and unreleased music. All of your favorite YouTubers are performing their music. Scotty Sire is performing all of his music with all of his friends. And as you guys know, I only originally wanted to do free tickets, but we ended up doing a VIP option just in case people wanted to skip the lines and get a gift bag and go into little exclusive areas and all that kind of stuff. I feel like any convention or festival should have that kind of option. So we've been preparing the gift bags and all of the perks for VIP, and to offer that at such a low price of $65 is sick, and I feel great about it. Meetup groups and selections will be announced later in the week and all that kind of stuff. Panels, lineup, all that good stuff. And you guys have no idea for these surprises that I have in store for you. And I want you guys to know that safety and coordination is also a giant priority of mine. We are doing a convention the real way.
The poor man's VidCon. I have been watching YouTube most of my life. Most of my internet experience has involved YouTube. I had a lot of times in my life where I was very isolated for varying reasons, and the only constant I ever really had was the internet, which can lead to some interesting choices. It pains me to say this, but I grew up watching Shane Dawson. As someone who grew up watching Shane Dawson and YouTube, I also grew up observing the first, second, third, all the VidCons. I had always wanted to go to VidCon, but I never had the money to go. I watched every VidCon vlog, and I remember wishing every single time that I could go and meet the only people who had been there forever. Even though it's not how that works at all, but that was how I felt. I remember when Shane said that he was going to go to that convention. It was like the kid in me that had always wanted to meet your childhood idol suddenly had a chance to do that. I had actually found Tana through Shane Dawson. If Shane Dawson had not endorsed Tanacon, I would not have gone. Not only did I see myself in Tana, I thought that I was going to be able to finally achieve a childhood dream of meeting someone whose content I had taken solace in. For better or for worse. We're not going to talk about the type of content I had taken solace in. That me up in a whole different type of way, but that's not the point. I was vulnerable. This comment I left on the announcement video, I think, sums it up pretty well, and this response does equal justice. It's just sad. I was in a really bad place mentally, and I just ended up in a bad place physically. Anaheim. Smoke and mirrors. They had a massive list of creators.
My fire lineup includes, I'm like, Tana Mojo, love her, she's so fucking dope. Shane Dawson, Bella Thorne, Ricky Dillon, Elijah Daniel, Gen X Penn, The Gabby Show, Mario Selman, Ashley Schwan, Amari Stewart, Christine Sidelko, Adam 22, Lena the Plug, Call Me Charisma, Chris Clemens, Emma Chamberlain, Corinna Kopp, Bradley Wanamaker, Loie Lane, Zane Hijazi, Scotty Sire, Kristen McAtee, Heath Hassar, Matt King, Toddy Smith, Jackson Kriok, Lorraine, Nate Garner, Cody Herbinko, Wesley Tucker, Carly Steele, Dr. Woke, Ricky Thompson, Jack Barron, The Bell Twins, Connor Bobby, Rafael Gomez, Sarah Basca, Flamin' Geos, Janine Amapola, Bad Zach, Daniel Cohn, Matthew Taylor, Chloe Couture, Griffin Arlen, Kate Up, Ari, Kylie Ray, Aaron Fuller, Lauren Godwin, Lisa Schwartz, what? Kira Santoro, Goddamn Zoe, Weston Curry, Taylor Alicia, Morgan Adams, Carrington Durham, Andrew Sawicki, Brittany Balin, Natalie Paris, Rylan Adams, Aaron Malou, 99 Goon Squad, Jasmine Garcia, Jonas Bridges, Cody Coe, Derek Kildall, Nikki Blackletter, Infinite List, Jesse Page, Papa Jake, Brandon Rogers, Tyler Brown, Justin Blake, and more.
This is the desktop version of the website on the Wayback Machine. You will notice that there are a few more highlights, including Miranda Sings / Colleen Ballinger, Ricky Dillon. There's even Brandon Rogers, Casey Neistat is in there. There are a bunch of creators that had actual reputations that they put on the line, and people bought it. They just kind of, I don't want to say got away with it, but they were not looked at in the way that maybe people signed on to also see them, and it wasn't just stupid people trying to see Tana. Just food for thought. Not all of the images rendered on mobile, so that's why you'll see gaps there. You'll see that the entire vlog squad was attending, and this was pre any semblance of controversy. This was their heyday. They were there. There was rumors that David Dobrik was going to be there. There's just creator after creator plastered across the website to indicate that there will be someone for everyone. They had Shane's whole entire squad too during their heyday. This was a massive deal in the YouTube space. There were also some recognizable music names from what I understand, but only for people into that particular genre. I will say that. It's par for the course for any convention to have some sort of sponsorship, and Tanacon was no exception. You can see all of these sponsors that Good Times secured for Tanacon scrolling at the bottom. Again, there was some difficulty with rendering on the Wayback Machine on mobile, but I went through and checked every sponsor. Tanacon was brought to you by Owevo, a defunct competitor for YouNow, Hero, a clothing brand of some kind, PETA 2, which is just PETA, but 2, I guess, trademarked. We have Veeps, the good old ticket holder, Glor et Sang, another clothing brand that I've never heard of, Fanjoy, the resident merch seller during that time, and, of course, Filthy Fangs, Bella Thorne's brand. Back then, I didn't look into each brand individually, but I did look at the rest of the website. And there was a lot there. Good Times Live touted itself not only as a production company, but a management company. The website featured a message to creators stating, if you love to create content, Good Times is the place for you. It also included blurbs about management, multi-platform monetization, brand opportunities, and live events. Good Times claims that it also does merchandising, rights management, as well as providing musician services and casting and development for their artists. It appeared as though Tana had found a company that specialized in YouTuber and online creator events. She and creator Malu Trevejo had actually both worked on an event with Good Times before, and it appeared to be a complete success, so much so that Tana Mojo was willing to do a convention with this company and slap her name on it. These are the sponsors that fooled me into thinking this company was legitimate, though they probably just slapped on the names of any companies a creator they had worked with before had worked with before. They have Disney, YouNow, AOL, MTV, Universal, Coca-Cola, HP, you name it, they have it. They even have Nike and a little Grammys symbol on there. There is everything. These big names give the impression that this company will deliver. Good Times pulled out all the stops to appear as though it were a very established and reputable company, despite there really being not much behind it at all. I have all the emails that they sent pretending to be a reputable company. I have the emails from Veeps, I have the emails from Good Times. They had a whole lot of smoke and mirrors in place to try and convince you that this was legitimate. Despite Tana's reputation, this was legitimate. It was endorsed by Shane Dawson. There was seemingly a reputable company behind it. They had on their website applications that you could fill out to try and apply for a creator meet and greet. After poking around the website, I mistakenly assumed that I had vetted it enough and the convention would proceed as it had been outlined. So I texted my sister for her thoughts, gave her the information that I had, and bought a ticket to Tanacon. The targets. Most of the people there were there for Shane Dawson. Or Bella Thorne, ex-Disney. I loved her on Shake It Up. People weren't really there for Tana. And the only type of person who really was there would fall under the category of, vulnerable. I could be wrong, But realistically, if you're here, you know the type who is terminally online in their teenagehood and feels like the only people they identify with are people that they have never met before. I don't think there were any fully functioning adults that were there of their own volition. Most people were early 20s or late teens, sometimes mid-teens. And I met a lot of people who had the same story I did. People who thought that they were finally going to meet their childhood idol or meet someone who they felt like they saw themselves in and wanted to have a social event including people that had the same interests they did, i.e. the internet. Everyone there was like super, super nice. The actual experience. It actually starts at 10.
Alright, I'm getting up.
Would you mind making coffee?
We're having mate.
I'm so bored. So bored. Very bored. So bored. Bored. I hate lines so much. I'm so bad waiting at them. It's literally only been 25 minutes. It's gonna be like 3 hours.
Where are you?
Tanacon.
What?
Convention in Anaheim.
What? For what? Why are you in Anaheim?
It's a YouTube convention. I have to pee. So badly.
Like, VidCon?
Yeah, but not VidCon. VidCon competitor.
If you see Elijah Daniel and Christine Sadelko, tell them hi. Give Bella Throne a kiss.
I wish LMAO. She's pee hot. I don't know if I'm even gonna get in, damn it! But if I see them, I'll say hi, LOL. Help. Bored. Dude. I almost destroyed my phone. Like, I had the rubber case off, but the plastic frame of the case still on because it was hot, and all of a sudden the frame split and it started slipping out of my hands, and the top part of the frame fell, and the bottom part was halfway off, but I caught the very end of my phone. Me in a parallel universe is livid right now. I'm dying.
Why?
Still in line. I regret everything, but I've committed, so I gotta keep going. I'm so high. And tired. And hot. Dying. Lol. Tanacon is trending on Twitter.
Is it fun?
You know, I made a choice. Not sure if it was worth it.
So it's not fun. Wait, how did you get to Anaheim?
My dad drove me.
Who are you with?
Me. I regret everything. Ugh. I snuck in, LOL. But I'm in pain from standing for hours. I'm considering leaving, honestly. Like, I don't know.
Oh, she snuck in? Help! Yeah. And aw.
I'm kind of bored. Should I leave? I don't know.
No, stay and get super high.
It got shut down.
What?
Yep. Tell you in a bit. I'm sitting on the ground by the entrance. Hey, Dad. Where are you?
Fullerton, ready to leave already?
Yeah, it was a train wreck.
Might take 20 minutes. I'll call you when I'm close and you can meet me at the Target across the street.
I'm very disappointed. Okay.
Actually, more like 40 minutes.
Ah! Well, I will continue sitting on the ground in Target.
I'm still about 15 minutes away at least.
Okay. Well, still gonna sit here. I'm now sitting in the shade outside on the ground because they told me I couldn't sit in there. I deal with an invisible disability. It makes my body hypersensitive to a lot of environmental factors that I was unaware I would be thrown into for several hours. I have Ehlers-Danlos, which is a connective tissue disorder. It's genetic, and it means that I dislocate joints really easily, among other things. I end up with some complications from it, and those include a heat intolerance and blood sugar problems. I like to refer to myself as a rare and unusual houseplant because I thrive under very specific temperatures with very specific nutrients. If those conditions aren't met, things get very physically uncomfortable for me. I would not call the event accessible. I was essentially highly at risk for a lot of negative things happening to me if I was stuck in the sun for hours and hours and hours. And that is exactly what happened. I did not expect to be thrown into a survival scenario. It is an absolute miracle, complete miracle, that I did not end up in the hospital. I mean that genuinely. Something that happens, I don't want to say frequently, but definitely happens enough, is something called crowd crush. Crowd collapses and crushes are catastrophic incidents that can occur when a body of people becomes dangerously overcrowded. I am not kidding when I say that it is a miracle no one ended up in the hospital. It's a miracle that no one ended up injured that I know of, aside from that one girl who looks like she's frickin' 13. Such crowd crushes can occur when a moving crowd is funneled into a smaller and smaller space, or when it meets an obstacle, such as a dead end or a locked door, or when an already densely packed crowd has an influx of people, causing a pressure wave towards those at the front of the crowd. The footage that was released of security, which I unfortunately cannot play here because I know that it had a privacy complaint on another video and I don't want my video to get taken down. Security was telling everyone to go out of one specific door. And then after that, I know police were requesting that everyone go out one specific door. You can see the door here. That is the only entrance and exit that we were supposed to be using. A crowd can start to act like a fluid, sweeping individuals around without their volition. Such incidents are invariably the product of failures of organizations, and most major crowd disasters can be prevented by simple crowd management strategies. Such incidents can occur at large gatherings such as sporting, commercial, social, and religious events. The critical factor is crowd density rather than crowd size. If the Tanacon attendants listened to the organizers and/or the police once they got involved, people would have died. I mean that. There are other cases of this happening recently. One of the more famous ones is Astroworld. On November 5th, 2021, a fatal crowd crush occurred during the first night of the 2021 Astroworld Festival, a music event founded by the American musician Travis Scott that was held at NRG Park in Houston, Texas. 8 people died on the night of the concert, and 2 more died in the hospital over the following days. You don't need a crowd like Astroworld in order for this to happen. There was a potential throttle that was put in place by organizers that could have seriously hurt people. This is an ongoing problem. Just recently in October, a crowd crush unfolded in Itaewon in Seoul, Korea. Once again, a failure in organization and management took lives. There was also a football match in Indonesia where 135 people died of the same thing, crowd crush. This could have been such a catastrophic disaster. You don't need thousands of people for a crowd crush, but we had thousands of people. 5,000 is plenty. 100 is plenty. The science does not lie. We could have died. It was so packed that when the sirens for the police and the EMTs came to pick up that poor child, we just thought people were getting arrested. That started going around as though it were fact because that was the only conclusion people could draw. They saw absolutely no ambulances because, from my understanding, the ambulance could not get close enough for it to be visible to anyone that was in the parking lot. I remember standing in line. I was so lucky to be next to the nicest two girls who were willing to, like, they walked to a Starbucks that was not very close, and they were willing to buy me a freaking, like, little drink thing to keep my blood sugar up and to keep my temperature, like, internal core temperature down. So lucky. Shout out to those girls. I just remember them being completely lovely. And yeah, that was the best part of my experience. The other fans who were just struggling. I was not anticipating that to be part of the experience. I got there pretty early in the morning. It actually wasn't that early. It was 10:30 in the morning, but my depression sleeping schedule had made me remember it as the crack of dawn. I figured, all right, I'm gonna be late, but I want to look cute, so I chose to do my eyeliner. And now I'm glad I chose to do my eyeliner because that would have just been an extra hour of standing. I went in thinking that it was going to be, you know, probably a line like an hour. I had been to at least one concert, you know, like I'd been in a super long line before. I've been in the audience for America's Got Talent. Like, I have been in lines. I was not unprepared for a waiting experience. I was unprepared for a 5-hour waiting experience that was really not what was on my itinerary for the day. Not only was the line super long, but the parking lot was also still open for cars. So cars were driving around people and people were trying to avoid getting hit by cars while also having like a long line just wrapping around the spaces. So that was a hazard. It was so hot. It was so excruciatingly hot. There is a narrative floating around that the Tanacon attendance couldn't have been that overheated because it was only 80 degrees. Well, let me learn you a science. The parking lot that we were all trapped in was made of asphalt. If you know anything about asphalt, you will know one thing. It gets hot. In Southern California, hot asphalt awareness is a huge issue. Many dog and cat owners will not let their animals outside at all during the summer due to this, or will only walk their animals late at night once the asphalt has cooled off. The reason for this is because the absorption of heat on asphalt can actually raise the surface temperature of the ground by 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see here the weather in Anaheim that day. The high was 84 degrees Fahrenheit. If we do a little math problem here, we end up at 134 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the surface that we were standing on. Heat rises. We were just standing in an oven surrounded by other people, which also raises the temperature. From 11:53 a.m. up until about 3 p.m. when things got closed, we had no cloud cover. We were standing in the complete sun being baked alive. The breeze never went over 9 miles an hour, so the most relief that we had was minuscule. I cannot emphasize to you enough how unpleasantly warm it was. Ugh. The inside of the Marriott was also excruciatingly hot, specifically in the auditorium room. You can see me staring off into the sea of people with my hair up, trying to figure out how the fuck I got myself into this. It was not what I had been hoping for in any capacity. I only managed to see Elijah Wood. He was on stage rapping about something, and I had no idea who he was at that time. Honestly, Elijah Wood's not Elijah Wood. What's his name? Elijah... You know, gay Elijah? What's his name? Elijah Daniel. I only saw Elijah Daniel rapping, had no idea who he was, and just could not believe that I had gotten myself into this swamp of incompetence. I could not believe that I had made a string of decisions that got me to being in Tanacon. Once you got inside, it was muggy because there were so many people. Oh my god, if this had happened during the panorama, there would be a new strain that came out of the Marriott lobby. People say that no security was there. I don't think you understand exactly how little security was there. When I saw in the Shane Dawson documentary videos of security, I was shocked that they were there at all because I, an attendant, did not see them. Ever. I did see a bunch of people carrying various different bags. I saw someone with a duffel bag. I was openly vaping. Like, none of this... It should not have been, like, I shouldn't be able to openly vape in the Marriott. I was in a headspace where I just did not even think about how inappropriate that was, and now it blows my mind that there was no one there to stop me, not even a smoke alarm. It was just a complete show. My shoulders keep like hunching up out of just the stress of reliving this experience. I didn't have a good time. A parasocial lesson learned. I'm gonna give it to you the only way that I know how. In the app. When your main friend is the internet, you will get caught up in a weird world where these content creators have some actual impact on your day-to-day life. I wanted Tana to succeed so badly, to the point where I was willing to actually go and put myself out there to prove to myself, parasocially, that no matter how much of a fucking hot mess someone is, they can still achieve things that people think they will not be able to. She definitely achieved something. I have a video of everyone chanting, Tana, Tana, Tana. Tana, 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 Tana. The reason the people were chanting Tana is because they wanted her to come out and face the music. People were mad. They weren't going, Tana, Tana, come out, let's have a blast, babe. No, people were like, Tana, get your ass out and tell us that you're going to be giving us refunds. Oh, I passed and I want a refund and I want to burn. We've all seen the footage of Tana saying, they love waiting in the rain and you know, whatever.
So I feel like 5,200 is a good number.
It would be really, really cool to have people like outside waiting to get in.
So, shit went downhill real fast.
Like, people love to be oppressed outside.
Yeah.
They're just like, I waited in the rain. Like, they love that shit. I love that shit.
Oh, I passed and I want a refund and I want to burn.
And they like want to watch the closers arrive too. They're like, like they're going crazy.
Oh, I passed and I want a refund and I want to burn. My opinion is that Michael from Good Times Live is a scammer. Michael's job was to say, hey Tana, that's a terrible idea. I'm in charge of conventions and that could hurt people.
But what is capacity?
The hotel told me 1,200, but obviously
In like the main
that,
ballroom. I have it set at 5,200 right now.
I love that for us.
I can also kind of just like set no capacity and then just be like, okay, we're gonna sell it out when we sell it out. You know?
I saw him on his Segway, segwaying around. I call BS that he had no idea that this was gonna happen. I call BS on everything. What I learned that day was, among other things, Parasocial relationships will not give you any closure. Parasocial relationships will not make you feel better in the long run. Parasocial relationships are a negative. Sorry. Sorry. The aftermath. Bro, yesterday was hell. I almost got heat stroke. There was a riot, people were arrested, it was wild. I am very sunburned. The absolute I'm in so much pain afterwards. If I could, I would sue. I didn't see I almost passed out. The night after the absolute disaster,
Dude, I know. I read Tanacon was terrible. People are saying they want their money back.
I want my fucking money back. The absolute audacity afterwards, too. I didn't see this mentioned anywhere. The night after the absolute disaster, everyone got multiple texts saying that, got texts and emails saying that your ticket was good through the next day as well. They told people to come back. I'm sure some people who were put up in hotels and whatnot, I'm sure that they would have been willing to come back, but people like me were absolutely not willing to return to that godforsaken parking lot. The blatant lack of respect really gets me. I think the garbage icing on this dumpster fire cake is that after the disaster, we got an email from Michael Weist saying that A, the attendants were at fault for the disaster because supposedly 15,000 unregistered guests showed up and thus ruined it for everyone, which we all know now did not happen. Not only that, Michael also offered compensation in the form of a ticket to a future event rather than an actual monetary reimbursement. Michael claimed that they could also issue monetary refunds, but it would be out of his pocket specifically. And then he says in the Shane documentary that he can't afford it at all. I thought I was being charged $65, but they did an extra $12, like a service charge and tax, and then just... So, that was interesting. I got it all back after commenting angrily multiple times. Tana finally released a video about Tanacon. This should be interesting.
Oh shit. So happy. So relieved.
I commented that this apology better be fucking good because it took 3 weeks for my sunburns to fully heal.
I don't think an apology could even make up for it, to be honest. Like, a refund is nice, but also, still, not acceptable.
Yeah, I'm still pissed and I want her to feel like garbage for us being treated like garbage.
She could, like, legit get sued by, like, everyone who went. For so many reasons.
I know. And she probably will. And I want money. They overcharged me too. Like, what the fuck? Thankfully I got my money back, but like, if I didn't, they charged me $12 more than they were supposed to. That's bullshit. Yup. I changed all of my bank account info and stuff. I'm watching videos on people talking about Tanacon. Apparently there's conspiracy theories going around. I don't think it was a conspiracy. I think it was just bad management. The only way people finally got refunds was after Veeps, the ticket holding company, intervened. Veeps was founded by Joel and Benji Madden from Good Charlotte, as well as Sherry Saidi and Kyle Heller. It was recently acquired by Live Nation, but at the time it was owned and controlled by the founders. They were the ones who issued refunds, not Michael. The real truth about Tanacon. It is baffling how incredibly badly this went. Hindsight is 20/20. If I had known any of the things that I know now, I would not have gone. But I didn't know those things. Because I was 18, almost 19, Tana was 19, almost 20. Teenagers making teenage choices. Like, there's a reason why everyone looks back and is like, oh wow, I was really stupid as a teenager, or wow, I was really dumb in my early 20s. Yeah. Yeah, you were. And if you were a teenager, or you are a teenager, or you're someone in your early 20s, were in your early 20s, whatever, you check any of the boxes that I just described and you think, God, well, I never would have done that. Congratulations! You know, I don't know if people think it's uncool to have empathy. I just feel like we should extend empathy to our younger selves and extend empathy to the younger selves of people who were stupid enough to pay $70 to meet Tana. My conclusion. After ruminating on this con, I guess the quick and dirty of it is the only people who went to Tanacon were people who were like Tana, really depressed, probably did drugs, had a tenuous relationship with their parents or maybe an absent or dead parent, parasocially dependent, you know, I'm just FBI profiling, like sad teenagers, and young adults, okay? After getting roasted alive, being roasted by the internet was not what we needed or were looking for at all. I think I can speak for every person there when I say that no, we were not living for standing in the rain, waiting in the rain, waiting in the snow, waiting in the sun. We were not living for that. We were dying. We felt like we were dying. Tana. I just had to get that out. So, if you are wondering why anyone would go to Tanacon, that's why. I think the moral of the story here is, don't put any faith in content creators. That's it. With that, I am gonna touch grass. Bye!
So with that being said,
Good times. Michael Weist.
their current CEO, anyone who created
Tanacon.